You made it, Joe.
I did.
You vapor rubbed up while I was gone, I saw.
lubed.
Yeah?
Dennis Cox got me on the right kind of teas that don't have all the caffeine.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm
Rock
good to
that
go.
green tea, baby. Let's go.
So you were on a struggle bus, and meanwhile, I drank, and I feel great.
Well,
Shout out to my brother and his wife, Emily. Got married on Saturday in Tampa. It was a wonderful affair. That was only ruined by NC State losing to Boston College. You know the power of NC State stuff is real when it's supposed to be like the greatest day ever, and you can't. Him and his groomsmen, who all went to NC State, couldn't help themselves and watched the end of the Boston College win over NC State while waiting to get announced by the DJ at the reception. I was like, "You guys really doing this right now?" It's like, "No, we want to watch this. We want to watch this." And yeah, that was quite a memorable moment. NC State bringing people together to hate watch. That's what happened on Saturday. But congratulations to North Carolina, because really that was the icing on the cake for a wonderful NC State day. Carolina wins the Coastal Division on Saturday.
there is a push and pull to the universe, Joe.
There
you
really
will never
is.
convince me otherwise.
There really is. There is a push and pull universe, which I think maybe that's the takeaway from Jeff Saturday's first game and first win as interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday over the Las Vegas Raiders. Maybe there's a push and pull to the universe where football people love to tell you, man, we're grinding for 90 hours a week. We don't see
I sleep on the couch.
we don't even see our families, okay? Because football is life. Not the football is life on that silly Ted Lasso show, Real American Football, the one we recognize, right? And there were understandably a lot of people who were upset by Jeff Saturday getting hired as the interim head coach with no prior head coaching experience, and his connection to the Colts other than being a former player and Jim Irsay's guy, he was a paid consultant, right? And we come to find out more context. There were multiple opportunities for Jeff Saturday to get a head coaching, or not a head coaching job, but an assistant's role with the Colts, and he always said, no. TV pays good money, and I want to be around my family, et cetera, et cetera. All things that are very commendable for Jeff Saturday. But I guess the pull to coach from Jim Irsay was too much, so he did it. Now, can we recognize the king level that Jeff Saturday achieved on Sunday? The man, 2 weeks ago, as an analyst, tweets out, the Raiders are horrible. He did something that anybody who covers football would do. They give your opinion. But, Giglio, I want you to put yourself in Jeff Saturday's shoes. How many times have you tweeted something about NC State or Carolina where you're like, what are you doing? Right? But then all of a sudden that school then goes, hey, Giglio, we need you to be the coach.
Hey, can you fill in, please?
And by the way, you're going to face that team in your first game, right?
I would. You know what, though? Humbly,
Yeah.
I would do exactly what Jeff Saturday did.
And that
is, back me up here, Dennis, because you were here. I said, either the Colts are tanking and I thought they were by benching Matt Ryan and playing Sam Ehlinger, who's not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. He's a bad.
And then they went and got a guy out of the ESPN studios. Then on Friday, I talked to Bomani Jones. Catch that conversation on the Best of the OG. I hope you go back and listen to it. Because he said, no. You don't understand. Jim Irsay has like a love affair with Jeff Saturday.
Sure.
Like, he thinks he's going to come in there like a Svengali and turn this thing around. And I said, that's fine, but it ain't going to happen with Sam Ehlinger as the quarterback.
And what'd they do?
Oh, my God. They put Matt Ryan in the game. Oh, my God. They didn't care about, like, the $4 that they're going to owe Matt Ryan next year, potentially.
Yeah.
Like, that financial equation never made any sense to me. Oh, but we would have to pay $7 million more to Matt Ryan next year. The team's worth billions.
You're good.
Okay?
Right.
I think it's okay. This isn't like me and you needing to raise $7 million to keep the program on the air. This is a billionaire who has a product worth billions. Oh, yeah, but we got to save that $7 million. None of that made any sense to me. Ever. So while you could sit here and say, Giglio, what would you do? Go check the tape, my friends. I told you I'd put the NFL quarterback back on the NFL team.
Can we just recognize the king level, though? Raiders are
He
horrible.
had to whisper it. He had to whisper it, and he did it. So
Raiders
full credit
are
for Jeff Saturday.
horrible. I'm going to go out there as a guy who's never been a head coach before, and then I'm going to go beat the team I called horrible. Like, y'all recognize the great. Like, Jeff Saturday can walk off. If anybody
He actually should.
if anybody ever has a problem with Jeff Saturday and what he says on NFL Countdown in the future, like let's say he's not a head coach and he goes back to TV after this, and it's like, oh no, Jeff, you're wrong. Oh, am I wrong? You remember that time I told you the Raiders are horrible, and then with no head coaching experience, I was the head coach of the Colts and I beat said Raiders? I was right. So you come at me, all right? You come at me? Nah. I recognize the new king, man. Jeff Saturday, nothing but respect for going out there and doing that. And look, I say there's a push and pull to these types of things because we have built the Sunday shows reacting to Jeff Saturday really can go in a number of directions, right? Well, last week I still maintain that hiring him shows you all that is wrong with NFL hiring practices. I thought it was interesting that Bill Cowher went on the Sunday shows. Dennis, we have this clip. This is Bill Cowher on the CBS Countdown show, and he was like, it's always fascinating to see what people's line might be. And for Cowher, given all the other instances in which you could point to the NFL hiring practices being a joke, this was the line finally, and he was like in his feelings about this.
Jeff Saturday talked about in his first press conference the fact that he's going to use his second half as an opportunity to build his resume, to see whether or not he can coach in the future. I say to that, what about the assistants on the staff right now? The guys that were there in training camp, the guys that were there early in the morning and late at night, the guys that have gone through the first 6 weeks in that building, guys like Gus Bradley, Scotty Montgomery, John Fox. Don't they deserve the opportunity for an owner to hire a coach who's never been an assistant at the college level or the pro level and overseeing a lot of candidates that are qualified for that job, as we see in Steve Wilks, an opportunity to build a resume? It's a disgrace to the coaching profession. And regardless how this thing plays out, what happened in Indianapolis is a travesty.
A travesty. So let's flip it. Bill. Let's flip it to the other side. Doesn't John Fox deserve the opportunity? John Fox has he's had the opportunity.
No, he does not.
He doesn't though. He doesn't though. And this flips us over to the Raiders. Josh McDaniels continues to get opportunities. He broke a Raiders team that made the playoffs last year. You got
with an interim, by the way.
Yeah. And you got your starting quarterback crying on the podium. Not that there's anything wrong with crying. That's not what I'm getting at here. Is that you literally broke your quarterback.
Derek Carr,
in tears.
Who stood up last year and was the face of that franchise with all the John Gruden stuff, with all the Ruggs stuff. Like he was the guy up there. So yeah,
you broke him.
Yeah.
All right. So you talk to me about what's wrong and what's a travesty. It's the guys like Josh McDaniels who continue to get opportunities, right? Or, like a real travesty. You talked to Bomani Jones on Friday. Bomani did a segment on HBO's Game Theory in his first season that I suggest everybody goes and watch about nepotism in the NFL being the biggest problem with hiring practices. We basically treat like, oh, were you born into a football family? They ain't Jedis, okay? They ain't no midichlorian football things flowing through your veins. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Oh, but do we really think that Bill Belichick's kid is bestowed a certain level of football knowledge that some other guy doesn't? Like, come on. But we basically treat it like it's football royalty. Those are travesties, right? The Jeff Saturday thing is just like out of left field, but it's not a travesty. And now Jeff Saturday can tell you, yeah, and I beat the freaking Raiders after I said they were horrible. Come at me. I got nothing but respect for Jeff Saturday. Like, what are you going to tell the guy going forward? I'm jealous. You're like, oh, Ovies, what do you know? That's the equivalent. What do you know? Well, I just came out of nowhere, coached a team, and they beat the team I said wasn't good. Unreal.